Okay, so imagine this. Someone hands you a blueprint, and they guarantee, absolutely guarantee, that you can grow your business to over $1 million in profit.
Per month.
Per month, yes. And always within 12 months. The best part. You don't have to be a, quote, tech nerd to do it.
That's more than just an aggressive claim, right? That is the ultimate pitch for the age of generative AI. It's this promise of massive guaranteed wealth just by, downloading some knowledge.
And that's the tension we're starting with today for this deep dive. The tension between that guaranteed $1 million promise and how simple they claim the implementation is. We're looking at Harold Pearson's huge 6-volume resource, the ChatGPT Millionaire Bible. We've got the author's promotional material, which is incredibly bold, and also a really detailed third-party review that gives us a bit of a reality check.
And our mission here is pretty crucial. We're not just going to read you the marketing copy. The goal is to unpack the actual, the playbooks he promises.
What do you actually do?
Exactly. What are the steps? We need to see how this thing is organized and, most importantly, really analyze the mixed reviews.
Yeah.
We want to figure out the actual value for you, the person trying to learn this stuff.
We're basically balancing this high-octane promise of pure science for hypergrowth against some pretty sharp critical feedback. It's a classic case study, really.
Yeah, it's marketing versus reality in the AI age. Let's unpack it.
So let's start with the source of the promise itself, the author Harold Pearson. He presents himself with some pretty serious credentials.
Right.
He claims he is a growth hacker who personally helped businesses go from what he calls shacks, with little to zero profits and lots of debt,
Right, shacks.
to hitting over $1 million in profit per month.
And he puts all of that success, 100% of it, down to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
The core idea is that, the old ways of scaling a business are just obsolete now.
He's basically saying if you're a business owner and you're struggling, it's not your product. It's because you just don't know how to use AI to grow at this, exponential speed.
Yeah.
And this book is supposed to be the missing manual.
And that scale-up guarantee is so specific. He's promising that just by following these playbooks, you can hit $1 million by 2024, and then automate generating millions every month after that.
It's not just about being more efficient, it's automated revenue. He even calls the content pure science and claims you can implement it within minutes of reading.
See, I struggle with that pure science claim. I really do. Especially when he also says minimal investment.
Right.
I mean, if these AI techniques are really that powerful, shouldn't there be a significant investment, in data or APIs or specialized talent?
Yeah.
The idea of minimal investment and instant results, it speaks to a desire for magic, not a methodology.
Oh, it's definitely playing to that instant gratification culture, but here's the hook. Here's how they get you.
Right.
The promise is that you can get this instant growth by applying just 1/5 of the knowledge in the book.
Ah, so you feel like you've gotten your money's worth, even if you don't read all 6 volumes.
Exactly. It's positioned like this secret key that only a few people have.
And if we look at the big themes the book claims to cover, you start to see the scope of the promise. It's not just about the money.
Yeah.
It talks about strategies to navigate the entire AI revolution, creative hacks for content writing with ChatGPT, and even no-code AI programming guides to turn your ideas into reality fast.
So, a concrete example they give is using AI to find these super profitable, underserved niche markets that you'd normally miss. That's a very specific promise of market discovery.
Exactly. So you have this huge promise, supposedly backed by success stories, but how is it all delivered? The structure is something the review really focuses on.
Yeah, 6 distinct books combined into one resource.
And that structure is so important because it's trying to cover the entire AI landscape, from the philosophical stuff all the way down to the really technical, but all of it framed for an entrepreneur. It's trying to be a curriculum.
Let's break down those 6 volumes for you, because this is really the core of the whole thing.
Okay, so Volume 1 is called Unveil the Dawn of a New Era. This is the big picture entry point. It's surprisingly broad. It explores the ethical side of AI, its potential to transform the economy, work, and, this was surprising, even romantic relationships.
The romantic relationships, that felt like a reach.
A bit of one, yeah.
Like it's promising a total life transformation, not just a business one. Okay, but moving on. Volume 2 is Turbocharge Your Productivity. This is much more grounded, focused on using ChatGPT as a personal assistant to boost your workflow.
Then Volume 3 is aimed right at the entrepreneur, the no money down solopreneur.
Okay.
This part claims to have strategies for launching and scaling a business with no starting capital, using ChatGPT for everything from, say, business plans to market entry. The review mentioned a specific tip about generating entire cold email sequences, basically automating your prospecting.
Which would remove the need for a sales team, at least at the start. That's a powerful idea, if it works.
Then Volume 4 is the core of it, AI for business owners. This is where it gets into using AI for a competitive advantage, operational efficiency, customer engagement, things like that.
And Volume 5 brings it back to marketing with content writing redefined. This is where he teaches the art of, quote, persuasive writing using ChatGPT. The very skills, he says, made him successful.
And finally, Volume 6 dips into the technical side, but in an accessible way. No code programming with ChatGPT. It explores building apps and systems without actually writing traditional code.
Using ChatGPT as a kind of programming partner.
Exactly. What the reviewers seemed to like was the organization. It's all neatly partitioned. It does seem to genuinely try to demystify complex ideas like machine learning for the absolute beginner.
Which brings us to the most important part, the feedback. And the reviews are dramatically mixed. It's this balance between accessibility and some really harsh criticism about its actual depth.
Let's start with the good stuff. Reviewers did confirm the book's biggest strength is that it's accessible.
Easy to understand.
Yes. People with different levels of technical knowledge praised it for that. They said the conversational tone really helps keep you engaged, even with tricky subjects. So it delivers on that no tech nerd needed promise.
And the focus on real-world applications was also a plus. It does apparently offer a lot of actionable tips for, boosting productivity or exploring new ways to make money.
And to its credit, the guide does touch on ethical considerations. It talks about privacy concerns, the impact of AI on the job market, that sort of thing. It encourages you to think about the bigger picture.
Okay, now for the drawbacks. This is where that aggressive marketing really hits a wall.
Yeah.
The criticism is very specific. Reviewers said the book is just overly promotional. It spends too much time building up the author and making these huge promises and not enough time on practical, actionable advice, especially for anyone who's not a complete beginner.
And this leads to the most pointed critique of all. And the irony here is it's astounding.
What's that?
The observation that the book reads like it was written by ChatGPT.
Oh.
Yeah. Reviewers pointed out widespread issues with redundant information and, noticeable grammatical errors all through the text.
That is a huge red flag. A guide that claims to teach you high-level persuasive writing with AI shouldn't have the classic flaws of bad AI text.
Exactly. For example, reviewers said entire paragraphs of introductory material were just repeated across different volumes. Like it would tell you what an LLM is multiple times, almost word for word.
Oh.
They also said that while the conversational style is nice, the author sometimes meanders off topic or repeats information so much that it feels like padding, like he's just trying to make the book longer.
And for anyone who already has some technical knowledge, the lack of depth was obvious.
Right. They found the explanations too simple, too shallow. They were, and I quote, yearning for more profound insights. So that accessibility seems to come at a very real cost to actionable depth.
So for you, the person listening who's looking for deep, validated knowledge, especially with such a mixed verdict on this Millionaire Bible, the experts and reviewers suggest there are some really high-quality, free alternatives out there.
Absolutely. If you want the fundamentals without all the financial hype, the sources point to a few big ones. First is the Elements of AI.
Okay.
It's a series of self-paced online courses that have been around for years. They're designed specifically to give non-experts a solid, verified foundation in AI. It's like a real academic starting point.
And for data science?
For that, you've got the Kaggle Learn courses. They're free, bite-sized, and globally recognized. They teach you practical data science skills with code that's been vetted by this huge community, which directly addresses that practical shortcoming of the Bible.
And if you're ready for, the really deep academic stuff on language,
then the source highlights Stanford's CS224N. It's a university-level course on natural language processing with deep learning. This is for the serious learner who wants depth, not speed.
And finally, there's the intensive MIT deep learning course.
Right. A high-level introductory course that blends solid theory with code examples and applications in things like computer vision and biology. These alternatives offer depth and expert validation. It's a very different approach from the instant millionaire marketing.
So, what does this all mean for someone thinking about buying this book? We've covered the huge promise from Harold Pearson, get millions, do it quickly, do it automatically.
And we balance that against the feedback that the book While it might be a decent roadmap for a novice,
Right.
it's probably too promotional, lacks real depth, and ironically has the same flaws like redundancy and errors
Yeah.
that you see in unedited AI-generated text.
So the trade-off seems pretty clear from the reviews. If you are a total beginner who just needs a broad map of the AI landscape to get motivated, maybe this provides that structure.
But if you're looking for those advanced, unique, proprietary playbooks that the marketing promises,
The reviewers suggest you're going to be disappointed.
very disappointed.
Yeah.
The book has a whole volume on content writing,
Yeah.
redefined, using ChatGPT for persuasive writing. And that makes you ask a question.
Yeah.
We're looking at a guide that promises rapid financial success with AI tools. But when the guide itself is criticized for having the same stylistic flaws as the unedited tool it's promoting, how do we even tell the difference between a genuine guide and content where the tool was, not just an assistant, but maybe the anonymous author of the whole thing?
And that raises a final, really provocative thought for you to consider. If the entire value of a guide is supposed to be this specialized proprietary knowledge, but it's presented in a way that feels like generalized, unedited AI output, then what is the real barrier to entry the author is selling?
Is it a real strategy, or is it just organizing information that's already publicly available? And what does that mean for the long-term value of any instant millionaire guide in the age of generative AI?